Are you feeling a little bit heavy right now? Are you feeling a little bit blocked, a little bit stuck, a little bit like maybe you're heavier than you should be and that you've done something wrong, taken a wrong turn somehow? Because 80% of people, when I asked this question on a poll on Instagram and then a poll on YouTube, both of those platforms, 80% of you guys came back and said, I'm feeling sherbety right now, Kerry. I am not feeling the lightness. And why is that? When there is so much light, why is there such a feeling of oppressive heaviness? Somebody said, there's a dank darkness in my soul, was one of the comments that I read. What's going on with that? Now, I'm going to give you answers. I'm going to give you some very practical answers that are going to go beyond your brain, go beyond the place where you just pick up information, because that's part of the reason why the heaviness is happening. Because there's a lot of people out there right now going, I'm hungry for information, and they consume so much information that they cannot digest. In other words, they cannot integrate, they cannot apply what they're learning, what they're integrating. So they're literally getting top heavy. They're literally sitting with this energetic field of information, not applied, not integrated. That's one. It's not the reason, but it's one of the reasons why people are feeling blocked and stuck right now. There's a very big imbalance of information. Make no mistake, we've been led here. We've been ushered here, guided here by the false matrix. Because people become so depotentized and so disconnected when they live up here in the brain, because then you're not in the body, which is exactly what the false matrix wants. The truth of you is that you're only powerful when you get into the body. Just yesterday, I released a video about the cosmic door. It's a very simple little technique that I shared with you in yesterday's video. I will link it in the video description box for you. So if you're replaying this on my YouTube channel, you'll go ahead and find that replay. It's going to support you. And that's one of the biggest things you can do right now, by the way, is get into the body. What's going on with the heaviness? And by the way, the heaviness that people are feeling, some people have said, I'm putting on weight and I don't know where it's coming from or why. Other people have said, I'm just emotionally, I'm emotionally heavy right now. Now, disclaimer, before I carry on my recording, I have got dogs that are barking today just because there's a lot of people up and down my street. I have just had a ridiculous amount of noise. So if there is noise and interference, I'm a human being living in a house in a suburb where other human beings live. This is not a recording studio. This is real life. It might get noisy. If that's the case, I apologize. Let's just flow together. Let's just be together, and let's just go beyond the desire for perfection, because that I'm fresh out of. I cannot provide it for you, and I wouldn't want to. I would way rather be this version of me, which is kind of messy, totally imperfect, very much not in an ideal recording situation, but this is a pure space that I'm speaking to you from, and I hope that you can hear me from your pure space. So let me speak to you there. I'm going to share a lot today. I'm going to share with you why you're feeling like you're feeling, if you're feeling a little bit sherbety, a little bit misaligned, a little bit out of it, a little bit in that heavy, dank darkness, as somebody so eloquently put it in my comment section earlier. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how to get out of that, though, because that's the real question, isn't it? The real question is not, why am I feeling this way? So many people ask that. So many people, when they're in difficulty, they say, why am I in difficulty? Instead of, how do I, that's the real question. How do I embrace ease? How do I get into my lightness? That, again, that's the real question. If I'm feeling heaviness right now, how do I embrace lightness? Because all of the analytical answers in the world are only going to be that, and they will not create an energetic resolution for you. And I so want you to remember this. I so want you to keep that piece of information with you, not just like you're putting it in your pocket, but like you're putting it in your being, and you're really letting it sink in, and you're going, no matter how much I know in my head, that does not create healing. Only I can, because that's the truth. Only you can create healing, because healing is not something that your brain can do for your being or your spirit or your body. It can understand the process. That's all that your brain can do. The true work, the true inner work happens at the level of feeling. And speaking of feeling, there's a feeling of heaviness. So let's talk about that. It's very on purpose. You're very where you're meant to be. And a whole lot of people right now just went, no, I'm not where I'm meant to be. I'm in the wrong place. I've done wrong. This is wrong. No, you're in the perfect place if you're feeling heaviness right now, because what it's asking you to do is transmute the heaviness into light. That's your job. That's what you do as an alchemist. You transform energy. You don't look at energy and go, no, sorry, I got the wrong one. Could you just reissue this for me? Something went wrong. I'd like a refund. This is not how your life works. You are it. You are the complaints department. You are the refund department. You are everything. You are the order, the one who gave the order in the first place, who issued that order and processed it. You are a living universe pretending to be a disconnected, small, finite human thing. So there's a very big shift in consciousness that gets to take place now in this life. Now, speaking of this life, a lot of people understand this is no ordinary life. I'm in the process of ascending, but that doesn't mean that I'm going somewhere. It means that I'm evolving, transforming, transcending from the inside. Sounds great. But for a lot of people, that great sounding thought is only that it's a thought. And on the very practical, linear level, what they continue to do is carry on with life as per usual. And they say, well, you know, I've got to live in the real world. I've got to pay my bills. I've got to just carry on with life as per usual. And I'm not saying you don't have to pay your bills, by the way, because you absolutely do. And I'm not saying you don't live in a physical material world, because of course you do. But simultaneous to that, you are a being of spirit, energy. You're expressing yourself in physical form, but your job is to connect with yourself in the energetic form whilst still here in the physical form, because no one's going to do it for you. But a lot of people are looking for that to happen. A lot of people are waiting for ascension to happen, or for something to free them from the constriction and the heaviness of the physical world that they live in. And the physical world, the reason why it's so heavy right now is because there is so much past surfacing. There is so much past in the atmosphere around you. There's debris, and it's past, and it's old, and it's heavy, and you can't take it with you. And the divine matrix, the organic matrix, pure God source creation template is telling you, you get to go no further. You don't traverse a step beyond where you are right now until you've released what you're carrying, the burden of the past. But to release the burden of the past, one thing has to take place first, and that is an acknowledgement. Not there, here. In the body, a feeling has to happen. And the feeling is, I can really see, I can really connect with, I can really feel into how much of the debris I've been holding, how much of the past I've been making real and reviving and giving the kiss of life to every day and carrying with me and breathing into my everyday world. Because if you look at your past, and your past looks like a place of trauma or hurt or stuckness, then that trauma, hurt, and stuckness, where do you think it's gone? It's gone into a repetitive cycle, stuck, buried deep inside of you. And then it's coated with a layer of denial, a layer of illusion, a layer of, I don't need to look at that. Almost as if that didn't happen or that's not real. So there is your first clue. When you look at the past that I'm talking about, I want you to look at the things in your past that you made unreal, not real. This didn't happen because it was too big, too painful, too traumatic to come to terms with and to recognize and to realize. And there are going to be people who misunderstand, and I accept that, and that's okay. There are going to be people who go, oh God, she wants me to rehash the past. I don't want to do that. No, I don't want you to rehash the past at all. I want you to acknowledge the past. Because it's only when you can see it that you can let it go. You cannot let go of what you cannot see. And by see, I don't mean analytically understand, analytically be able to define every nuance of that which was your past. I mean, feel it as an entirety. Feel it as a field of energy. And my God, can you feel that? What just happened? Feel it as an entirety. Feel it as a field of energy. Did you feel the heaviness? That's where it is. Did you feel that's where it's coming from? It's coming from your connection to the past and your inability to acknowledge it so that you can be free of it, so that you can let it go, so that you can move forward where you belong in the now, in freedom. The past is collapsing. And I've shared this with you guys before. But sometimes I'm aware that when I share something with you and the information is very big, which is very often what I do share with you, it feels like, where do I put that? I put that in the realm of stuff I can do nothing about, but is cool to know anyway, except it doesn't belong there. See, what I've shared with you guys before is there are old abandoned timelines. This timeline that you're on, and when I say timeline, this reality that you're on, is populated with your consciousness and with your awareness, but there are many parallel lines, timelines, and many parallel yous populating those timelines. And I want to just go into a bit more detail with you here, because hopefully this is going to bring home more of what happened. As this beautiful Eden of ours was hijacked and taken into the false matrix, which is essentially taken out of the organic template from whence it arrived, from whence it came, and putting it into the imprisonment of a false matrix. There's a playlist on my channel. It's going to go into way more detail about it. But as you explore the false matrix, what you're going to find is that there are many wars to gain control and to retain control of the false matrix. Many times wars were fought to return this false matrix back to its original place as the Eden of the organic creation template. And as this occurred, think of it as a tug of war, think of it as a fight, think of it as the darkness trying any and everything to maintain one of its prized possessions. And in so doing, multiple timelines occurred. These are known as the timeline wars. And really what it is people trying to recreate the past in order to offset an event that they didn't want to happen. So there's this continual looping, this continual going back to redo, to recreate, to create splinter timelines. And each one of these splinter timelines created a fragmented self. And then something occurred wherein that timeline was not propagated, it wasn't continued, it was abandoned. And these abandoned timelines are literally just sitting out there as a field of energy. Do you understand why you're feeling heavy? Because all of these are collapsing, and they're collapsing into you, into the now, but it cannot happen until something profound occurs inside of you first. And that is that you get now, that you get fresh, revitalized, revived, present as presence in the body. And that's a field of energy. Just like the past is a field of energy. And I said, can you feel the weight that you've been carrying around? It's way beyond what your brain understands. It's all of those. It's the past you've lived through, but that's a drop in the bucket of the past you've been carrying. Imagine. The past you remember is a drop in the bucket of your past that you're carrying. That's the heaviness. Because all of that is coming to collapse. And you know how this works. When something is ready to be released, when something is ready to be transformed and transcended, it becomes very prevalent and very apparent. So if you're feeling a heaviness, you didn't go wrong. But don't walk away, and don't buy into the victimhood right now of, oh, well, I blew it. It's over for me. I'm too blocked to ascend, too blocked to evolve. I'm beyond healing. It's not going to happen. It can't happen for me. It's gonna how cute. I swear it's going to happen for everybody else. Really happy for you guys. Not going to happen for me. There's a lot of people in that mindset. Don't be one of them. Be the light, so that in being the light, you uplift all of those people who are confused right now and holding on to illusion right now, that you can be the hope. Because hope must be something tangible, not this fantasy, not this illusion, not a wish. But you give hope when you become hope. You light up the world for other people by being the light within you, which means transcending the darkness within you. So don't be afraid of it. When you feel it, what most people try to do is run. Don't run. When you feel it, acknowledge it. I cannot tell you the power of that one thing. Acknowledge. And acknowledge is not a thought. Acknowledge is a feeling. Feel. Oh, There's that heaviness. And sit with me and stay with me and let yourself journey through this and give yourself the time that you need to discharge what you were carrying by taking this one step. And if all you take is one step, you've taken a quantum leap. Acknowledge. This is why I often say we've got to get real. This is getting real. Getting real is not the illusory world of the car and the house and the job and the bank. That's not what is real. That's the illusion. This is the real stuff. But can you see the shift in priority that's necessary right now? You cannot live as the past version of you lived, which was in the illusion, making that illusion real every single day, making it more real. The bank account, the boss, the car, the school, all of that stuff, which is going to happen. Maybe. Maybe it's just going to dissolve. Depends very much on your reality. But you cannot live a lie as in, I know that I'm here for ascension. I know that I'm here as an energetic consciousness, but I'm going to carry on as if I'm not. And I'm going to invest my time and my money in the movies and who's winning the Oscars and what pop song is at #1. Who cares? Honestly, guys, who cares when you're here to do the most monumental thing that any being could do, which is to shift the body form that you are in, your body. Only you can do this. Only you can shift your body from the dense, heavy, material world that it was stuck in into the organic matrix again. And yes, you're going to be catalyzed, which is part of what's going on right now, even in this conversation. Can you feel that? So if the density gets heavier in this conversation, don't go, no, it's getting worse. It's exactly right. Because if you're afraid of darkness and density, you're not qualified for the job. You're a spiritual warrior. And of course you're qualified for the job. You wouldn't be here on planet Earth if you were not. You don't get to take what appears like a shortcut. Oh, I can't do it. Oh, I'm not qualified. You don't get the shortcut because you came here for the long haul, which is ascension. And the truth is, if you don't do it now, you're going to do it later in a couple of 1,000 years or lifetimes in the next cycle. A cycle is long. Guys, an ascension cycle is very, very extraordinarily long. And that's a lot of time spent in unknowing, and it's a lot of time spent in misery, and it's a lot of time spent in suffering. So do it now so that you can be free of it now, so that you can release yourself from the grip of the false matrix that's doing this. It's grabbing at your heels. It's trying to pull you back. Can you see what I was saying earlier about priority and how important your priority is? And I always talk about the investment. Invest your time, invest your money, invest your energy in your growth, in you. As if it's the most important thing that you're doing and nothing else matters. Get there. Bring yourself to that threshold of commitment to you. Can you see why there's an epidemic in relationships of people not being able to commit to other people, people not being able to be loyal to other people? Because how loyal are you to yourself? How committed are you to your life's growth and your life's work and your life's path? How dismissive are you of that which really matters and that which is truly real? See, when you got your priorities straight, you can go to your job because you're not, this is just my job. This doesn't matter. Unless, of course, to you, your job is your purpose. But for most people, they say to me things like, oh, I wish I could be free of my job. You get free of your job, not by walking away from your job, but by getting committed to your purpose. Then the job can happen in the background, but it's not going to take up so much space. Instead, you are. So the priority gets reshuffled. Earlier, I spoke about you get free from the past by step 1, acknowledging the past. That's a superb first step. I spoke about priorities and the investment in yourself. It's a superb second step. And I want to give you more because there is more. Get into the now. And those will only ever be words until the practical application is able to connect to those words. So how do you get into the now? Breathe, baby, breathe. into the now. I've got a video here on YouTube called 21 Days of Conscious Breath. Go do it. It's just breathing, but go do it and get present. Go do the very simplest meditation on my website, the Deep Relaxation Trilogy. Do it often. That's going to get you into your body and get you present and into the now. But there are many. Go and hang out in my online shop and go see what calls you into the now. My online community will call you every week into the now, and it will give you replays of every session that's going to bring you into the now in such a way that you're going to be going, oh my gosh, I didn't know the now felt this way. And now I'm more now, and now I'm even more now, and now I'm even so now that I never knew I could be this now. Because it's a surge of life force. That's what the now is. It is when you dislodge, disengage, disentangle from the time matrix which held you prisoner. That's the heaviness. That's why it's coming up, because there's this message from the universe, and it's like, you're done. You're done with that heaviness. Meditate. That's another way to get into the now. I've spoken about meditations, guided meditations that I've got for you in my online shop. But do your own meditation if you want to. Do somebody else's meditation if you want to. But allow yourself to really find time, investment, space to get there into the now. And don't do it once and go, okay, well, I did, it's an everyday, ongoing devotion to what is real, and that is you at the energetic level. And when you're there, do you know how many questions are going to be resolved in your life? How do I do the best for my children? By doing the best for you. How do I save my relationship? By saving you. How do I become abundant? By energetically tuning into abundance. So many questions that you've got are resolved in one fell swoop by getting so devoted into the now. And don't make the mistake of thinking, I know what the now means. You can only ever know what now means intellectually, but to experience now is to experience timelessness. It's to go beyond the veil. Do you know that that's what it means? To get into the now means go beyond the veil that restricts and constricts and holds you in the false matrix. That's what the now is. That's when you start getting free of the past. And I want to give you more. How else do you do this? How else do you get free of the past? There's something very important, and that is you've got to have a sense, not just of meaning, not just of purpose, but you've got to have a sense of self. And you don't have a sense of self until you can connect to yourself, until you become unafraid to feel. This is one of the most profound things that you can give yourself, is authority and permission to feel. And so many people have given authority to all these external players in their lives, because you got to make me feel good and you got to solve my problems for me. When you give authority to yourself, which can only happen when you connect to yourself, which can only happen when you grant yourself authority to feel, it's at that level that you actually become a master of your reality. And it's at that level that you can now start changing stuff in your world. You're powerless until you start working at that level, because all you have is hopes. Oh, gee, I really would like this. What a lovely hope. What a lovely dream. What a lovely fantasy that can never come true until you get to experience truth inside of you. You are doing so much better than you think. The heaviness, the so-called wrong path, the sherbetiness that you might have been feeling, that didn't mean that you did wrong. That meant, look at me in the right place to alchemize all of this density into the light that is coming through me, because it is. But you don't get to the light until the connection is in place. And that's why that authority to get real and feel where you are is so important. If you're in my online community, type the word emotion or emotions into the search bar in the Plasma Life Call library. There are so many masterclasses on emotions. Go and spend time and listen. Because some people will do that. Some people will invest in themselves monetarily, but not with time. Spend time on you as if you're the most important thing that you're doing. Take the information that you've got and start breathing it in and integrating it and living from it. You're in a blessed space all these timelines collapsing. The world has told you you can't carry the past into the future, so you're going to feel like you're in limbo. You're going to feel like you're stuck until that happens. What a blessing. It's kind of like the universe has said, look, I'm going to make this foolproof. I'm not going to let you go forward and pretend or live in pretense or have to make a U-turn and come back and get this lesson. No, I'm going to stop you in your tracks right here, right now, so that you've got to progress beyond this place, which means to collapse all of those timelines into the now, into your presence, so that you can be free and so that you can move forward. From my heart right into yours. I'm definitely going to link a video up here which is about time, and I'm going to put more videos in the description box for you. They're going to be linked to today's theme. Lots of love from my heart right into yours. I hope you feel it. Bye for now.